Tanner Dunfee and Travis Sandifur. Welcome to the podcast, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, good times here. We are at Asgard Combat Sports. It's on the sign. That's helpful for me to remember the name. In Lafayette, Indiana. Are we in West Lafayette? Or
we're in Lafayette.
Yeah, and
if
proudly
you want to get
so.
to West Lafayette, it's like
A mile down the road.
Yeah, but those guys over there in West Lafayette,
Yeah.
they don't really get it. They don't get what we have going on.
They're
in
preppy.
Lafayette,
Rich.
the original.
Yeah.
So we've been doing some jujitsu. Lafayette, that's actually never mind. I'm already ready for the tangents. So I wanted to do an episode because Coach Stephen Hall, who is the black belt here at the gym, asked me to do an episode either talking about like vet stuff or Leo stuff because he's kind of proud of both things within jujitsu. And so I was just like, okay, well, who do I know that's cool here? And that's vets, and that turned out to be you guys, both purple belts at the gym, both vets. And we were supposed to have Justin Gibson, right?
Yes.
With us here as well, and he decided to get in a fender bender today instead. He thought that'd be more fun, I guess, than come and do the podcast. So it's just the three of us holding down the fort.
I think we can manage.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
We can do this.
We'll be good.
I believe in us.
I have faith in you guys.
Okay, so since we are talking about some of that vet stuff, not like it has to be a heavy podcast or anything, but can you guys tell me a little about when and where you served and all that all those details?
Go for it.
So I was actually reservist. So I spent most of my time here, and then the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. But then I would get called up and leave for like a month, 2 months to go do training and do a bunch of other random military things that I'm not using now. So I never went overseas, never did anything like that, but trained for it. Trained people to go overseas, actually. I was running an M9 range, Beretta M9, which is handgun. I don't know how familiar you are with guns.
Kind of. I don't know handguns as well as I know rifles now from like the hunting side of things. But
a lot of people shit on the Beretta, man. I liked it. It's smooth. It works well.
That's what I carry.
Yeah, it's a good gun, man.
Yeah.
But that's what the military uses for hand sidearm. And so I was actually teaching officers how to shoot it before they were deploying overseas. Yet I had never deployed. I thought that was kind of weird, but I did that. So that was fun. I was also a suicide intervention officer, and then I worked as I did the SHARP program. So that's the Sexual Harassment Assault Response Program. I don't know why I said SHARP program.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's like ATM machine. So
yeah. Or in the military, you have a CAC, but you call it a CAC card.
CAC card.
Yeah, but it's a common access card.
Right.
So.
Right. Nice.
Words to you.
I was National Guard here in Indiana. I did one tour in Iraq. I was there from 2009. Well, into 2008, most of 2009. I served as a medic. While I was there, I worked in a clinic in the evenings. So from like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I was taking in casualties that come in or people were sick or whatever. During the day, I taught the Modern Army Combatives program. I was a level 2 instructor, plus I was their medical support, which brought around a lot of funny little incidents with officers and lower enlisted. Let's see. Stateside, I went to Fort Sam a couple times for deployment reasons, brush up on medical techniques, stuff like that. And then went to Utah for training, which was interesting. You could be running and be like in 1 inch of snow, and then 2 steps later, you're buried up to your knee, falling on your face. So that was entertaining.
Wait, where at in Utah?
I can't remember the name of the base.
Oh, really?
For 100% honest. I get back from Iraq, and they're like, hey, you're going to Utah. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And then so I come back from there.
Integrate you.
Yeah, well, no, it was for the Warrior Leadership course.
Oh, WLC.
Because I'd received my sergeant's rank over there, and they promoted me into a line unit when I come back. So I had to hit that course and then went up to South Bend.
I got my E5s and never did WLC. I never did BLC either. So
It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
okay.
Let's see, Fort Custer, Michigan. Went up there a few times. I couldn't stand that place. I hated it. We'd be out there in a blizzard, trying to shoot targets that were frozen up, so it wouldn't register when your bullet actually hit it. It wouldn't drop, so you'd be wondering, did I actually do it? And we'd stay out on the range like 4 to 5 times longer than we should have. So, yeah, that's a good portion of my experience.
Okay, nice. So National Guard, and did you
It's
say
National
Army?
Guard.
You were National Guard.
Yeah.
Also.
I just say reserve. It's all the same.
Reserve. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it? There's no like.
There's. I mean,
Is there still a branch when it comes to?
so you have your Army Reserves and your National Guard. They do the same thing.
right, because
not-
they're similar.
funded.
They're real.
So the
They're
National
funded.
Guard is state
Right.
funded. That's the only difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
And the Reserve is federally.
I got you.
That's the big difference.
This is always where it's like it becomes a foreign language, and when you guys start throwing out the acronyms and like, oh, I got my E5 without doing BLC or whatever, like, it's such a wild like internal thing there. It's like, I feel like I've actually complained on this podcast before about the fact that like when you talk to certain military people, it's like a competition of like how many different acronyms you know compared to how many the other guys know. Like it's absolutely wild to get into it. It must take some serious time, but I guess once you're there, like that's your life. That's what's going on. That's what all the trainings are about. That's what you're spending all day
kind of
dealing with.
when you're in that like reserve. I just refer to it as reservists. When you're in that reservist area, you're also back here a lot too. So like I had a full-time job while doing all this, which when the National Guard would hit me up and be like, hey, we're sending you here for a month and a half, full-time jobs do not like that, but they can't fire you based off that. So they'll find loopholes around it. Like Indiana, you don't actually have to have a reason to fire somebody. You can just fire them and they can't do anything about it. So I got fired from a couple jobs while I was, well, not while I was gone. It was when I came back, but pretty sure they decided while I was gone, he's never here. We're going to get rid of that guy. And that happens. But it's not a bad gig because when you're in, they're looking out for you. And when you get out, they're looking out for you, but not actively. Okay? So when you're in, you have guys that their job is to find you a job if you don't have one or whatever. They'll work with you and get your life together. When you get out, you still have that, but like it's a lot harder to get to. There's hoops you have to jump through and stuff like that. So it's definitely a big family while you're in.
That makes sense.
So.
That makes sense. Hard to leave then.
Yeah.
This time.
Can be.
Well,
Can be.
Well, maybe we'll get into that. Hey, Andrea, can you do me a favor? Would you grab a couple of beers for us, please?
Thank you.
I did my best to ask politely. I said I wasn't gonna like make some sexist joke or something. I could do it now if you want. No, she's good. Okay. Well, I guess I have a lot of kind of questions. I've been thinking about this because I knew kind of we were going to do this episode, but I also want to talk a little about Asgard as a thing. So people are familiar with my journey in jiu-jitsu. It's a lot of 10th Planet because I know I can find really solid no-gi with 10th Planet, and I do not like putting on a gi when I don't have to. But I did find this place here in Indiana. Thank you very much.
Thanks
for the gentleman. Thank you. I did find this place when we were here coming through last time, and it's just been a good vibe. Like everybody I've met here is really cool. I get good roles. I get some really competitive roles. I get some roles that people know what they're doing and we flow more. So I just feel like it's a good environment. But can you guys talk a little to, you know the gym better than I do. Can you talk a little to like what's the idea with this place? What are you guys trying to do here?
So let me just give you like the background on Asgard as it is. So Asgard originally opened up in Monticello a couple years back. Coach Hall decided he wanted another gym. He had been in with somebody else, and that kind of went downhill. So he opened up his own gym as a brown belt called Asgard Combat Sports in Monticello over on Main Street, I believe. It was really, really, really small, maybe a fourth the size of this. Well, After about a month, 2 months, the mats were full. So obviously, a fourth the size of this, really easy to fill those mats up. Rent was really cheap. We were thinking about just making it like a club, and like all members chip in, we pay the rent, whatever. We were like, we're still growing. Let's bump this up. So Coach Hall got another place, and we ended our lease with that original one. Put a lot of time and effort into building up that other place. Well, Monticello is not a big town. So once we took a little break to build up that new place, most of the people that trained with us stopped training because there's no other gym to train at unless they traveled all the way here to Lafayette or up to Rochester. There was no other gym. So once they stopped training, you know how it is. You take a little break. You're like, I don't know if I want to go through the hell it is to get back into shape and deal with all that. So we ended up opening and then not having a big turnout. And it stayed that way for a while. Coach Hall talked to me, and we both agreed that if we moved to Lafayette, it would be able to get more people in here. So we moved here down just a couple doors.
Yeah.
And
when I texted you this year, I was like, did you guys move? But it looks the same in the pictures.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just a few doors down in the same building suite.
So Coach Hall just talked to the landlord here, and then they just kind of like upgraded us to this one. But the reason we upgraded here is we merged with Travis's original gym, Ascend. And so we had two gyms come together, which we had already had happen when we moved to Lafayette. We merged with Rhino's gym downtown. So now we're 3 gyms combined into one.
Nice.
In this nice facility we have here.
And Ascend, that's Coach Scott.
Yes.
Right? Yes. I don't know his last name.
Shank.
Scott Shank. Okay.
Sorry to forget that one.
And he's and so he's got the gi portion of things primarily, right?
Yes.
And then Coach Hall handles most of the no gi.
Yeah.
And you also,
Yes.
Tanner, do a lot of the no gi.
I like no-gi, man.
I remember last year, it's like the inmates were absolutely running the asylum because it was just you and Justin teaching most of the no-gi, which was all fair. And like, especially back then as a white belt, like, obviously I don't care, especially because Justin with the wrestling is...
Yeah, he's a phenomenal wrestler, man.
What is his experience in that?
So we actually grew up together, went to high school together, everything. The guy's been wrestling since he could walk. So obviously, if you've been doing that, and he's 28, he'll be 29 here soon. If you've been doing it that long, you're gonna be good at it, no matter what it is. So he wrestled all through high school. It was great. Then he enlisted in the Army, left, came back. I had found this gym in that time, and he was like, "Whoa, why are you better than me now?" He started coming in, and we've been having a blast.
Nice. Good. So you're from the Ascend family then, Travis?
Correct.
Like, that's your background.
That's a good portion of it. If you want to be technical about it, I'm from Rhinos.
Okay.
2003, it was somewhere 2003, 2004, I decided to start doing cage fighting for some weird reason. And Mo, the coach there at Rhinos, he was about 4 blocks from my house, so I started going down there. And when I ended up joining the military, I didn't go back there. I couldn't find him. He had been going to California and training, even though his facility was still there. So I tried going back there several times and ended up at another facility for several years. And that's where I actually met Professor Hall and Professor Shank. Was there. So I knew Professor Hall when he was a white belt, throwing him around, and now he's black belt choking me out because I took such a long hiatus, only training kickboxing. And then Scott hit me up, Professor Shank, hit me up and said, "Hey, why don't you come train over here?" And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything physically, so and I love the sport. I'll get back into it. So I ended up over there, and then 2 years later, we ended up merging here. So almost ended up back home, but
in the meantime,
there
there's a lot of aggressive open mats over at Ascend.
Yes. Oh, yes. The open mats over there was crazy.
Dude.
Really, why?
I don't know, man. Something about that atmosphere. The mat space, I don't know what it was.
It's
But-
bright in there. The music was loud. The intensity was up. Egos were to be smashed. You know.
Saturday mornings were so aggressive.
Brutal.
Yeah. And then also there was other belts above us at the time, so
Oh yes.
man,
Yeah.
it's nice to get smashed every once in a while by
Yeah.
some higher belts.
Things are getting a little different in my jiu-jitsu journey because it's not as hard anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean that in a rude way. It's not like I'm super good now at jiu-jitsu. It's not that at all. But I was rolling with somebody. So we rolled just before this. I'm rolling with another white belt. He's great. He challenges me quite a bit. I can't just like finish him. It's nothing like that. But what I really notice is that when I'm in that top position, he has to use a ton of energy to roll the other side, and I just sort of float on on his body over the other side. And now I kind of get it. Now I kind of get like why not everyone leaves an open mat completely destroyed. And you know, for the longest time, just being a white belt, you're like, oh, everybody must feel this terrible.
This is
leaving.
hell. Every Saturday
Yeah.
sucks.
It gets a little different, doesn't it? But it's good, you know. There's I don't know. Everybody argues about what belt is best, and I've seen there's good arguments for like white belt. Hey, no one expects anything from you. Blue, maybe that's harder because people are starting to expect things from you, but there's still a lot of white belts that can beat you. But I also saw an argument today that purple's the best belt because, you know, you can lose to a blue belt every now and then, but you can also challenge some of those upper belts really well. Do you guys have an opinion on this argument? It's a big deal on Reddit. Which belt is best?
That's something I've never really thought about, but I think my brain just wants to say coral belt automatically is the best because they're
But
the
imagine
top
the
dog
pressure.
no matter
Imagine
what.
the pressure. You can't mess up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I notice it from teaching in here. You know, my brain kind of fumbles around on something for a minute, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm the purple belt. I should know this right now. I'm sorry.
Right.
And then I'll have to like take a moment, figure everything out.
Or after someone chokes you a little bit and you lose that little
Yeah.
consciousness and you're trying to put your words together.
The room gets a little bit smaller, and you're like, hold
Yeah.
on, wait a second, what were we doing?
Yeah, that's the other thing. When you start, you don't have any stubbornness about other people. You just tap to whatever, and then
That's
as you
not
keep
true.
going,
No,
no, you
no,
didn't?
that's not true.
Oh,
But
I did.
Granted, we have a lot of Purdue students that come here.
Uh-huh.
So, like, as you saw today, we had a decent amount of our Purdue students still here. Since we're in summertime, you know, usually most of them are gone. So, surprisingly, we had some, but they have that stubbornness to them, especially like the newer they are. I don't want to tap. I'm young. I'm fresh. I'm
That's crazy.
I'm good. I don't
didn't
want to
have
tap.
that at all.
Yeah,
I was tapping left and
yeah,
right when I was new.
absolutely. I'm beat up. My body hurts already
Yeah.
walking in here. I'm tapping to anything that gets
Yeah.
remote to tight.
Yeah, that's
Tell
true.
everybody tap early, tap often.
Yeah.
There's nothing good will come out of getting an arm broke or
Yeah.
a finger broke or, you know, it's all it is your ego.
Yeah, definitely. So the connection here, I feel like between there's two trains of thought I have here. Let me wait actually on the main one here. That's the reason we're doing this podcast. We'll hold on to that. The other thing I'm thinking is it's really cool how you guys have merged, you know, all these different gyms together, because you really have become like the place to do jiu-jitsu in this town. Like this is where you go. And it shows, you know, like tonight was packed, and I've seen a lot of nights that are packed. Unfortunately, last night was pretty small, so we'll have to film another gi night. I guess people just didn't want to show up and put on a gi last night, but tonight was packed. Mats were rocking. I'm reading this really interesting book by Peter Thiel right now. Are you guys familiar with him at all?
I'm not.
He's the investor that started PayPal. So like he and Elon Musk were PayPal, but his whole book is absolutely fascinating. The big thing he talks about is like a lot of businesses that are doing the same things, they fight over being in competition with each other all the time. And it's so stupid because they're really roughly the same thing. Where if they were to join up, they could do the same thing together. So like the story of PayPal is that Peter Thiel's over here doing PayPal. Elon Musk is like 4 blocks away building a site called X.com. They're both doing the same thing, which is money over email in like the tech bubble of the late 90s, right? They literally meet in a coffee shop halfway between their two offices, and they go, we need to be doing the same thing here. And they do it, and they both become fucking billionaires. Like the whole idea is, why are we fighting each other when we could own this space? And I feel like
Yeah.
I feel that as I think about jiu-jitsu a lot, because how often is it like you've got two gyms in the same town. They both talk shit about each other.
Yep.
But as an outsider, I can go to both and have a great time at either gym, and it's complete nonsense. Like, you guys could have a big-ass space and big classes and more people to roll with if you just agreed, like, we're both cool. Let's just do it.
I just did that a couple months ago. I went up to the Ozarks, and I went and visited one gym, and then I went and visited a gym that was really fucking close to that other gym. And, man, I had a blast, but I don't think they're very friendly with each other.
Yeah.
Because I brought up the other gym while I was at the one, and they just kind of like,
Yeah.
one of those weird moments where I was like, I'm going to not continue this conversation anymore.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's a very real thing. I remember we were talking about B Team some tonight in Austin, which is an offshoot of some of the Danaher Death Squad. Isn't that what it is? It's like,
so it was almost like most of the Danaher Death Squad left and went to form their own team there.
Right.
And then Gordon stayed and a few others stayed.
Right. And so I kind of get that one because there's a legitimate like split in personalities or whatever. But it was weird at that gym when I was kind of like, I stopped by B Team just for an open mat one day, and I was like, what's the story with this like place? And people like couldn't talk about it. They were like, it's a little taboo to talk about the start of this thing. And I felt that was so strange. Like, don't we love this sport, man? I don't know. But maybe that's just me, and I don't know the history there.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a big part of that comes from the fact that Nicky Rodriguez is getting really, really good at jiu-jitsu. And he was already tapping out black belts in ADCC. Well, where does Gordon compete mostly? ADCC.
ADCC.
Yeah. So he's already going to be doing the absolute, and he's probably starting to give Gordon a problem in the gym. Gordon, if you're winning all the time like that, you do not like losing, especially in your home turf, I imagine. So
Yeah. No, and again, I'm not in on the story, so who knows?
yeah,
know,
same.
I don't know.
I'm speculating.
I just thought it was funny how taboo it was to talk about this because like you realize we put on pajamas and we come and fake wrestle, right?
Yeah,
like
aggressively pedal with each other. Yeah.
But that that's part of it. So yeah, I don't know.
It happens more frequently than you think, though.
Yeah.
People getting their feelings hurt, or they're thinking, "Oh, I'm going to lose money. You're taking money from me by opening your own facility," or "No, I'm so much better than you. You shouldn't be teaching this," or blah. It's people's egos getting to them. They think that they take it personally, and it shouldn't even be about that.
No.
And like you were saying, it's a sport. We're all doing the same thing. Let's get together and do it. Personally, I love going against people better than me. I love it. I learn. That's how you get better. I mean, you do learn a lot when you're teaching, but I prefer going against people that just beat me up.
Really, I've had a different experience. I had a coach, Sonny Parlin, my coach down in Florida, who I've had on the podcast. People may have listened to that episode. He said the fastest you learn is with someone who's just a little bit worse than you. And I tend to feel like that's how I learn really fast because they push you, but you do get to try that new thing that you haven't gotten to try before. But you feel like it's better.
I like getting forced and pushed along.
Really?
You're right. Having somebody that's just maybe not as good as you, be able to try new things, do new things. That's a good thing because you're right that you do learn there. But I feel like if I'm not being challenged or pushed, I'm not gaining. There was probably for like a good 6 or 8 months when Professor Shank would ask where I want to start, I'd be like bottom side. Because if you've never been trapped under him on bottom side, life's miserable for the whole time, and eventually you figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's my style. That's what I like to do. What I like to learn. So
I spent a whole year of just having people start out on top of me, and so when we were in Monticello, most of our people were in that 250 plus club. So I was 265 when I first started there, and then obviously slimmed up a little bit.
Yeah, you got shredded from this sport?
Yeah,
just entirely?
Yeah. Well, no. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Not just jiu-jitsu, from the gym, from jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. So I was just doing kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, and then I cleaned up my diet, stopped drinking so much alcohol. I was at the point where I could kill a 30 rack in one night by myself. Yeah, it was pretty miserable. I would go out and I would literally get a pitcher of beer at a time,
Jesus.
Not a good time. Yeah.
Military trained right there.
Yeah. Military trained, depression kicked in, everything. Got super. So originally I got a back injury, and then I couldn't work out, and that led to the depression, led to the drinking. Well, the drinking was already there. It just led to the deeper drinking.
Yep.
And then, it hit a point where I couldn't get out of bed without assistance. Had to have 2 back surgeries. But I had found Asgard before I had the back surgeries. So I was in here, in the Monticello location, rolling when I couldn't stand. It was kind of a weird thing, but like after I would get done doing the jiu-jitsu, it was almost like I stretched out my body enough that I could do stuff. I could actually stand up. I was standing up straighter than before I walked in, and it helped. I don't want to say necessarily helped to rehab me because I ended up still needing the back surgeries. I had a slip disc that was completely out, broken into pieces, and dead. So it had to go. It was impacting my sciatic nerve. My legs would just give out and I would eat shit, which is not cool. If you're walking through the mall and you just face plant, not a good time. So that would happen, and then I started doing the jiu-jitsu. I was like, I love this. This is fantastic. This is what I like doing. I like doing this. I grew up wrestling, roughhousing, taekwondo, all that fun stuff. And so, finding the jiu-jitsu was like finding your passion again. And had the back surgeries, waited. My doctor said, once your scab falls off, you can get back to that. So waited till scab fell off, good to go. Went back at it, then found out I was going to need another back surgery like a couple months later, which was kind of sucky. But the doctor said that it was like, hey, this could go bad. So we scheduled the back surgery. I ended up competing at a tournament and getting second place, and then like a week and a half later having another back surgery, which was probably pretty dumb, but I'm good. I'm good to go now. So
Dang, dude.
yeah. It sucked, but man, I feel like if I can bounce back from that, not a lot of people have an excuse, because I hear it all the time in here. My back's hurting me. Stretch and continue coming in. Your back's not going to feel better if you don't do something to make it feel better.
Right.
If you're just sitting on the couch, going home every day, drinking a couple beers, whatever. As we're drinking beers.
Yeah, well, hey, it's a special occasion.
Yeah. If you're just going home and just kicking back and taking it easy, your back's never going to get better. It's going to continue to get worse. That's what happened to me. My back never got better. I just continued to drink, went down that rabbit hole, and just progressively got worse and worse. But then eventually I was like, oh, I need to do something about this.
Yeah, so. I think about it in spirals a lot of the time. Like we tend to move in just one direction, and that momentum really starts to build. And the hardest thing is to shift the momentum and to spin it back in the other direction. All of a sudden, you start doing things right. But there is something about having a passion, particularly if it's in a really physical sport, that you can't beat. Because the thing is, I may want to eat like shit for a day, but if that day happens to be Saturday, and then I go to open mat, after open mat, I'm like, I'm not going to go put trash in there. I'm so sore. Let's go eat a steak. Let's get something for real in me. And I feel like you have to keep that spiral going at all times. There's nothing for it. But different people are motivated by all sorts of different things. But man, having a purpose, having something to drive toward is fucking crucial.
It's crazy. You want to know, and I'm sure other people like blue belts who left the sport or whatever and then came back, I'm sure this is something they've experienced. But like I said, I grew up grappling, wrestling, and stuff like that. So I even did a jiu-jitsu class when I was younger. Well, jiu-jitsu classes, but we didn't call it jiu-jitsu. It was just grappling at the time because my instructor wasn't a black belt, and this was,
15 years ago when it was taboo to not be a black belt and teach. So he called it grappling. But I remember my first day at Asgard. I just got fucking smoked, dude. Like, the crap beat out of me. I threw up, and then so I went to midget wrestling at the Neon Cactus, which is not a thing anymore. The night before,
The cactus isn't a thing anymore.
yeah,
though.
the cactus, the midget wrestling is still a thing.
Just not the cactus.
Just not the Neon Cactus. It used to be a staple at Purdue, but it's not anymore, obviously. So I went to midget wrestling the night before the gym opened, and man, we didn't get home till probably 6 a.m. And then the first day was a Saturday, so it started at 9 a.m. for kickboxing. Of course, I'm going to show up to that because I used to do kickboxing. Got the shit beat out of me there, and then an hour later, got the shit kicked out of me for jujitsu for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I just remember leaving thinking, I didn't do anything good there. Like, I know I'm better than this. I've trained like since I was 12 years old. What the hell? And that right there is what motivated me personally to come back. And then also on top of the fact that my back started helping. So,
Yeah, we gotta have something to drive toward. That's, I feel like it's a common thing within jiu-jitsu to blame the ego, or to use expressions like, you come here for the ego crush or whatever it is, things like that. But I had too many episodes about this lately, but I'm a big defender of the ego, because at the end of the day, the ego is the thing that brings you back. Because you actually, in order to want something, your ego has to be functioning well. And so if you want to become better, you actually really need an ego for that. I think it's just linguistics. It's just how we define it, So we define the ego as like sort of the bad parts of it. That's like, no one should be able to beat me. That's an incorrect thought. A lot of people are going to be able to beat you.
Absolutely.
The humbling is more so.
Sure, I can understand. Yeah, but I feel like our language is like completely inadequate to like really approach that issue,
Right.
Because you have to want something, and if you tell someone who is depressed and having problems that person needs to squash their ego, that dude's got no ego. That dude doesn't want anything. That dude wants to shorten his lifespan. That's the entire point. Is like, I'm gonna be miserable, and at some point this is gonna end. Thank God.
Right.
And that's a problem. We gotta want something, and I don't think it has to be jujitsu for everybody. I'm not like, I certainly sound like it all the time because I do so much jujitsu shit and I talk about it so constantly. Like, clearly it has to be jujitsu, but it doesn't to me. It just has to be something, and frankly, it should be something really hard, and it should probably be something really physical.
Yep.
If your sport, if the thing that gets you up and gets you going doesn't also motivate you to eat well and go to bed the night before because you've got to wake up and do something really physically challenging, maybe it's not enough of a sport. Like, maybe we need to push a little harder,
Right.
because it should make you seek perfection. It should make you seek to be in like tip top when you come here. I started lately relying on the numbers for that. Like, I got a Whoop strap finally. I was like debating fitness trackers for a long time. No, it's just this.
Okay.
That's all it is. But the actual thing about it, so like, you're not actually paying for a device, which is really cool. So like, this chip is the only thing you need. So it goes in the arm sleeve when I'm rolling.
Okay.
This is just a strap. What I really like about it for me is like, every day when you wake up, it gives you what's called a recovery score. It basically is measuring like your heart rate variability and your resting heart rate the night before. And so it's telling you if you're undergoing like a lot of stress or something like that, you're just like, you're not up for a lot today. And so I feel like what it's driven me to do is like, on the days where I know I'm going to jiu-jitsu, I'm like, I want to get a really solid recovery score for tomorrow so I can come in, I know I can hit it hard. But you can't always control that. So It's really interesting. But what's been fun is I finally figured out about it. I was like wearing it all the time, and I was like, oh, I'm good and recover today. Cool. But I would do the same things as before. Like, I wouldn't exercise any more than I was previously. But it actually tells you, like, you should exercise to this point. It's like super precise. It's like, do this much, they call it strain, in a day.
So it's actively telling you to push just a little bit
it's
further.
It's telling you this is the point you should push to. And it was often further than what I would naturally do in a day. And so like the other day, it was like, you slept real good. It gave me like a 97% recovery score. I ran in the morning. I ran like 3 miles. And by the end of the day, I was like, oh, I'll do some other workouts today, whatever. I played some basketball, whatever. End of the day, and it was like, you still got a lot of ways you could go. And so I had to go back out and run 2 more miles, because if you're not pushing to that number every day, it's basically telling you like you have unfulfilled potential here.
Do you monitor your
crazy.
heart rate while you're working out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wear it on my bicep when I'm rolling, and just on this when I'm like running or whatever.
So I've heard of people that actually will monitor what their heart rate is while they're working out,
and then get it to a certain level and hang out
Yeah.
at that level.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's what you're doing?
I'll show you. This will be really fun for you listeners. But like when I click start an activity, it's got the heart rate. Actually, no, running is an easier one to show this with, because it knows you might be watching while you're running. So once you start it, it literally shows your different heart rate like percentages. And so I can kick it in any one of those ranges. And like the higher up I go, the faster that like strain bar starts to fill up. So like I'll be running and I'll be like, oh, I'm only hitting like 80%, but 80% doesn't get me as much of a score. So I'm like, all right, I can push it just a little bit and I'll get a better score. So it's like overall, it's really helped me like just push. I feel like I wish people knew what did it for them. And apparently for me, it's having the numbers every day. But like,
that's definitely
whatever does
effective,
it.
man.
yeah.
So I want to touch back on the ego thing
Yeah.
real quick.
I see it a lot in kickboxing. New people will come in,
Yeah.
and they'll kind of like, most people think they know how to throw punches.
Because we see it.
Yeah,
We see
yeah.
it in the media.
And also, especially with young men, like young men specifically are like, no, I know how to throw these things. And they'll have this false sense of security on how good they can strike. And then they'll come in and we'll just show, basic strikes, and they're like, oh,
I am way off base from what I thought I was. Or, if we'll be doing some live sparring, they'll step into the live sparring. We usually wait till after the first week to let them do the live sparring. We don't typically like letting brand new people spar, but they'll step into that live sparring and get pieced up, and they're like, what happened there?
Yeah.
We had a young man come in over there at our old facility, and he was all about wanting to spar. He thought he was going to get it, and I didn't put any gloves on. I just went in there and stood, and Professor Shank was watching him. The guy was throwing punches, haymakers. I'm just moving my shoulders, ducking, stepping back, and Scott was like, you going to hit him? Because all he's doing is moving, and you haven't even touched him yet. So I think that's a real eye-opener on some people when they figure out, maybe I'm not as good.
Yeah.
And dude was super aggressive too. So
Yeah. I've been Andrew has actually been the one exploring this concept. I had another coach in Kansas City. He runs the 10th Planet Kansas City, Jeremy Horton, and he said that I think the way he put it was like fighters are truth seekers. So there's something here that you can ignore if you never step into a gym. You can make all sorts of assumptions, or you can go to that gym and find out what the truth is. And the tricky thing with jiu-jitsu is like once you find out that, or not jiu-jitsu, but fighting too, once you find out that truth, there's two types of people. Either you're going to walk away from that truth and continue to attempt to live, it'd be like, I know I saw the truth, which is that I don't know what I'm doing at all, but I'm going to pretend I didn't. Or there's people that are like, okay, I've seen the truth and I need to do something about it. And that's what keeps you showing up. So it's whether you can handle like reality or not. You know what I mean?
yep,
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely, man. That's a big thing, and I see it a lot unfortunately, I see it a lot on like Facebook. You'll see like jujitsu techniques, those like 5-second little jujitsu technique, and you're like, but that wouldn't work. And that goes back to that truth seeking. I'm like, no. I'm gonna try that, and then we'll see if it works.
I do have to say, I was really impressed today when I come in. There was a young man that I saw back on the mats that I hadn't seen in a while. And he originally come in, and he was giving it all. He really was. He was trying to listen, trying to progress, and then he like vanished. I'm like, well, okay, I guess, something in his mind clicked where he did not want to do this or didn't think he could. But, I was pleasantly surprised to see him back in here this evening. It's
one of those things like The
Thought he found the
further
truth.
you get in, the more you're excited to see those new people, even if like they're not tough role for me.
Yeah.
Or I get no benefit from them coming in here. It's still exciting to see them coming back, especially like I said, we give a free week trial, so like after that free week, if you come back, I'm like, oh, they want to actually learn.
Yeah.
They want to actually do this.
Yeah.
And that's so exciting.
And only that person knows if they're in this or not.
Yeah.
Which is the crazy
Yeah.
part, because you can't really ask them. They can't tell you. When I started, I knew I was in. It's funny because when you're brand new, people can make whatever assumptions about you, and numbers say like, I'm gonna try this out and then at some point drop out. But I already know that's not the case. But only I can know that. Like, no one can ask me that, because I could be lying, whatever.
Right.
But it's up to you to know where you're at. Are you the person that's in this thing for the long haul or not? And it's okay either way. But I do think you have to disregard a piece of truth if you are going to do that, and that's a choice, and that's a choice people make. I can respect it, and some people have other shit going on. That's fine. But you have to admit the truth to yourself like all the time, and I couldn't do that. There's no way I could be like recognize like what I left behind here, and just be able to step away from that.
Yeah. Well, now too, you're what, a year and a half in?
Yeah. Coming up on 2, right? No, a year and a half. Okay.
Yeah, you're a year and a half in, man, and you've already got your blue belt. So like,
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
you came back after getting your blue belt. You can't quit now. You're a lifer.
I got it too fast. I feel imposter syndrome every single day.
Most blue belts
Yeah.
feel that. I felt that way. I still feel that way about my purple belt.
We
Like,
had that discussion when we got our purple belt. We're like, dude, no, and we thought about it. It's like our coaches know us best. If they decided to give us that belt and promote us, they made the right decision. They see something that obviously, we're still working on.
Yeah.
So it's all about the progress.
I had a friend tell me it's not your choice when I got it, and I was like, I don't think I deserve this yet. He's like, that's not your call. It doesn't matter what you think. Like, a black belt handed you that.
and
They see
with
your
your
potential.
situation, especially, you didn't train at that gym for a while. You left, trained a bunch of other places, got all this knowledge from these other gyms.
Right.
Came back, and then that gym was like,
Dude.
"Oh, what? Who are you?"
I wish people could, like, at the start, it was the worst thing because the curriculum is not cumulative. So I'm building on a random piece that this gym is doing this week and then going to a different random piece over here. And at this point now, I'm like, this is the best. Like, this is progressing me incredibly fast because all these different styles, and I can pick and choose, and I'm just a complete mutt, and I'm super okay with that. Like, I whip out a lot of 10th Planet shit here. But when I go to Midwest Training Camp this weekend, I will be whipping out all of the Gracie shit, or I'll be whipping out some Asgard shit because they've seen all the 10th Planet shit.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to play with that. I'm not going to throw a rubber guard up. Like, they know what to do with that. Let's see about a deep half guard. Like, let's work some of that because it's just different worlds.
Yeah.
But
By the way, you're gonna have to stop into this morning class I got going on. This Jujitsu Lab. I've been covering deep half, and I think we had talked about it. The what is it? False reap into I think it's 411, or there's so many names for every position. I just know the positions. I don't know the names always. So
Okay. I'll be there.
yeah, man, pop in
I didn't even know
Friday
what that was.
and Monday. We do it 10 to 11:30.
I like the name of that because I think as we've been talking about this, the more I'm realizing, like, oh, this is a science. This
Yeah.
is
Oh yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
because there's objective truths, and there's places we can go and measure this, and
Yeah.
it gets measured every day in competition, and we have a theory that something might work, and then no, that does not work, and so you got to go back to the drawing board and fix it.
Yeah.
I was saying the other day, it's the stupid things that I've been seeing. We see all the large concepts, but moving one arm back a little bit and then raising an elbow up, they get a tap. I'm like, okay, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but it works. I don't know why I've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
So little things
Yeah.
that we find.
Yeah, it's increasingly difficult. I feel I don't need to go anywhere too weird with this. feeling a little philosophical, it's because of the beers. Do you need another beer, by the way?
Yeah, actually, can I grab it? Is
No,
that
it's
fine?
Andrew's got your back on
Okay.
this one.
You want to grab me one of those blue
He
slushies?
brought some slushy
Yeah.
drinks. Would you grab me another Budweiser, and then you can
You're
drive
more
me
than
home?
welcome to grab yourself a blue slushie if you'd like it.
Andrea doesn't really drink at all. She's kind of a prude, actually.
Oh. It's okay. I actually typically
Doesn't
don't
poison
drink
her
anymore
body.
either. So
No, she just has other goals. They're beyond our understanding. She's got it all together.
hey, lucky
She's
you
not a,
then, man.
She's not a prude. She's not a prude at all. She's actually really cool. But I said you're not a prude. I'm defending you. Yeah.
Well, only after you insulted me.
She doesn't drink because it doesn't make her feel good, and that's a
Thank you.
really good reason not to drink.
That's a solid reason.
It doesn't
to
make me feel that great either, but I do it.
These things are delicious. You're gonna have to try it.
No, sir, not tonight.
No.
Sometime he'll leave a few in the fridge. And,
Yeah, I've got a whole case. My boss Corey at Big League, he went ahead and ordered me a whole case of these since they're seasonal, and they're freaking delicious.
Okay, so I didn't lose this train of thought, which is surprising with the beers. But the thing we've been talking about, essentially, like comparing this to a science and talking about that we come in
Yeah.
here and there's truth here. Essentially, what we're saying is like there's an actual objective reality. There's a place we can come and actually test these things out, and there's going to be an objective answer to this thing. I feel that's becoming increasingly difficult as people believe that everything is subjective. Everything is their own reality. You can't intrude on their reality.
Yeah.
There's nothing objective left. There's becoming very little objective left. And even I used to like slip into this. I've had whole episodes of this podcast where I was talking with like legitimate philosophers and being like, oh, everything is gray. Everything just, could be interpreted any way you want. And I'm increasingly feeling like that is so not true. Like we have to embrace what is really real. And if your sport pushes you to be physical, if your sport pushes you to be healthier and be better and learn things and learn truths, and then on top of that you get like a philosophical lesson from it, what a fucking sport. And that has been true in all of the martial arts that I've been a part of so far,
The way I tend to look at most martial arts, anything, honestly, is like an agnostic point of view. I don't doubt that it works. I'm gonna have to find out for myself, So like, that's kind of what we do with this lab class. People will have questions. They'll bring in questions, or they'll see a technique. And Larry from class is really great about sending techniques on Instagram. And
Oh, I should send you all my Instagram techniques.
Oh no. But it helps, man, because some of it is legit. Some of it's perfect. It works really well.
And it's evolving all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's new stuff that these guys do, and there's new things to this martial arts that's been around
You
for
go
so
back
long.
20 years and you know how to leg lock.
Yeah.
You're top of the game.
Yeah.
You know?
You're also getting shunned and kicked out.
Yeah, you're getting. I mean, look at Dean Lister. He kind of got a little shunned from his leg lock game, and we call him the father of modern leg lock.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. You're right there. But
I think the thing with the different types of martial arts, it's all kind of situational. If you're standing, maybe there is one good style that's best for standing. Some people would argue Muay Thai. Some people like their karate, but you take a black belt in karate, you put him on the mat with a jiu-jitsu fighter, then they're going to get smoked.
Yeah.
If it goes to the ground.
Right.
But if you're training just starting on your bottom trying to pull guard, you're probably not going to get very well with the
Yeah.
karate
that's
guy.
like throwing, a striker or a jiu-jitsu guy in with a real good wrestler. You know?
Yeah.
That wrestler's going to get the takedown.
It's very situational.
9 times out of 10. If it's a solid wrestler, you're probably going to get the takedown.
Yeah. I feel like, and it goes further than just martial arts too, because there's like the entire self-defense aspect to the whole equation, which again I've talked about far too much on this podcast. I'm just an echo chamber with myself, which is unfortunate. But the thing about a podcast where I'm traveling and meeting new people all the time is like the same things come up, and it's the same things I'm thinking about. And so unfortunately for the listeners, as the host of this show, like that's the thing I'm going to bring up again
Right.
because
At
it's
least
a new
they get
person.
different point of views.
Yeah, I like
You
to
know?
think that that's what it really is. So I can provide some, the core concepts here, and then other people can help me break them down. So there's a great book called When Violence is the Answer. It's by a guy named Tim Larkin. He's just an amazing self-defense expert, and I've had him on the podcast, which was like my celebrity crush, sort of. It was really awesome to talk to him for real. This entire book like destroys everything about self-defense that anyone's ever known before. He really breaks it down into like when you're in an altercation, like there's a winner and a loser. There's not really a good guy and a bad guy. Right. And the rules are constantly changing. So someone may goad you into what you think is a fist fight in order to shoot you. I've literally seen a video. I saw a video on Reddit like a few weeks ago of a dude who like is coaxing a guy to start throwing punches so that he can pull out his gun and shoot this guy 3 times, which he does in public. It's crazy. So in the world of self-defense, like you have to be aware of everything. And 9 times, not even 9 times out of 10, 999 times out of 1,000, the best answer is to chill and go. Chill and leave.
Yep.
We actually actively teach that, when we're doing our self-defense aspect of our kickboxing or our jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. The first option, if I have it, is out.
Yeah.
I'm out of there.
You're an automatic winner if you get away.
Yeah, exactly. So even, as a semi-decent fighter as I am right now, my first option is getting out of there.
Yeah.
As soon as I see that opening or as soon as I create that opening, tucking tail and running, man. I don't care. Cain Velasquez, when he was a heavyweight champion of the world, said, if they have a gun, I'm out of there. Or if they have a knife, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that guy is way better at fighting than any of us
It
are.
happened to a Muay Thai champion. It's one of the stories in this book that's fantastic. Muay Thai champion gets his car stolen. He goes up to confront the guy because the guy's literally like stuck in traffic like 10 feet away. So he runs out and goes and tries to confront the guy. The guy just shoots him. Like there is no punch you can throw to a bullet. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Besides which, the majority of people, when they're using violence, because they're not trained in it or because shit happens, don't realize the devastating effects it can have. You can think you're having a fist fight and someone falls, busts their head open, and fucking dies. Your life is changed forever.
Or you get a double leg and you dump them on their head.
Yeah.
And you're on concrete.
Yeah.
That head's going to crack open.
Right. Yeah. So I think that like what it really is for me though, like there's a number of things that are worth breaking down in that. Number one, when I walk into a new gym, I have absolutely learned because of jiu-jitsu to expect the unexpected. And the tiny dude over there when I first started training, I was like, oh yeah, I could beat that guy up. And he turns out to be a brown belt and you're fucked. Like you don't know who you're up against in public, man. And frankly, even at the level that I'm at, if someone wrestled in high school, there's a good chance they could take me down because I still don't have that much experience in that. Now, once we're on the ground, I might be okay, but he's going to be able to tackle me almost certainly. So you just don't know who you're up against.
There was a story that I heard. I thought it was quite comical. This guy, he was in a bar. He's running his mouth about, I do jiu-jitsu. I can take you down. I can beat you up. And this other guy, he starts running his mouth and goad him into. He's like, no, jiu-jitsu doesn't work on anybody. You can't do that. Well, the guy decided to test his theory. Well, come to find out after he got his butt kicked, the other guy goes, well, I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So the guy ended up getting smoked, running his mouth about it and didn't know what he's getting into.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the I need a new word for it, but that's the bad version of the ego, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's that ego
that's
check
super
is what
ego.
that is. Yeah.
Super ego running its mouth. And
yeah, I need to learn
some
psychology so I have better words for all of this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There's a book I just saw. Was it Dr. Seuss's Theory on Psychology? Something to that extent. I just saw it when I was down in Florida, and I should have grabbed it. I was like, no, I'll get it when I get home. I'll look it up and figure out which book it is for you. I'll let you know. But it just made so much sense. The way that they were talking about it and applying it and using, like same style Dr. Seuss does, tell his stories. It clicks.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
okay. So when you initially started that and you said Dr. Seuss, I was like, that's a book I can get into. And then you said psychology. I was like, maybe not. And then you said, but it's in a Dr. Seuss style. Back in.
It definitely clicks. Let me see if
That works with Tanner's third grade reading
Yeah,
level.
man. I need that.
Keep it easy, man.
In the military, we have an acronym, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. I know you like the acronym, so
here it is.
throw
It's,
another one at you.
Classic.
Dr. Seuss and philosophy. Oh, the Thinks You Can Think,
Oh, okay.
and it's edited by Jacob M. Held.
Okay. Interesting. Dr. Seuss was crazy, wasn't he? I forget all the details of that guy, but he was fucking
Oh,
nuts.
the places that we go. That's I love that book. And so when I first started going back to college, I was learning Spanish, and down that road, I started grabbing children's books, and I'd read to my daughter in English and Spanish because they'd have them both translated in there. Now my daughter, she surprised us one day. I can't remember what I asked her. She goes, "No me gusta." I was like, "What do you mean you don't like it? You haven't even tried it." Yeah, so I thought that was cool being able to progress some of the Dr. Seuss stuff because we do the places we'll go in Spanish, and thought that was pretty cool.
If you could go back in time and just learn a language as a child, would you do it? Because I would.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
God.
I'd learn every language I could.
Yeah. That's one thing I think is happening. That's right. Is like they're pushing language younger and younger.
Mm-hmm.
Like that when you're still a sponge and nothing makes any sense anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've tried, man. I've played the Duolingo. I've tried the apps. Fuck you guys. It doesn't work. I have no fucking idea. I can sometimes follow along with what's happening in the Spanish sections of Better Call Saul. If I'm just listening, I'm kind of like, I think I know what they're talking about. I can't see the captions right now because I'm doing something. But
I'm half Mexican,
it's-
and it doesn't click for me either,
Most
so
of it
it's
is
okay.
being able to apply it and use it. Because I know that when I was taking it, I would actually go sit down with some of my coworkers that were Hispanic, and they would work with me a little bit. But when I stopped taking the class, I stopped doing that. Now I'm like, what are they even saying now?
yeah.
So you really have to be able to apply it to be able to use it. just
Similar
like
to
your
jujitsu.
So you're saying if you don't use it, you lose it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess learning Spanish didn't inspire you in the same way doing jiu-jitsu does to keep coming. And
Well, jiu-jitsu helps with a little bit of the PTSD. Coming back from, first off, when I was in Iraq, I did jiu-jitsu, and that helped because there's a lot of frustrations in the military dealing with certain things day in and day out, and you don't get an option. You do it, or you lose your pay, lose your rank. A bunch of things happen.
You're under contract.
You're under contract.
If you
Go to
mess
jail.
that up, you turn big
So-
rocks into little rocks.
With the transition from the Iraq, coming back here to civilian life, trying to figure things out, there was a whole load of frustrations dealing with people, and you have your PTSD. You're constantly hearing things blow up. You're constantly hearing people do stupid things, and you don't have a lot of the. I can't think of the proper word for it.
like an outlet.
Yeah. They don't set you up with an outlet. They say, here, go talk to this guy. And then when you're talking to that guy, it's like your next visit, you're talking to somebody completely different. So you can't build that trust. It's the VA for you. Some places do really well for you. Some places they keep dropping the ball and dropping the ball and dropping the ball, and they can't figure it out. So my outlet was fighting. And it took a long ways to come back to jiu-jitsu. So I did a whole lot of kickboxing, fighting, stuff like that, until I made it back to being sober. So
Happy you came back to it.
there's a whole lot that I'm skipping out on there. I get kind of emotional with it. So,
But there's an important theme here. And it's probably why Coach Hall asked me to do this episode, because it's not something I can understand. Hey, I'm a hobbyist. I didn't grow up fighting. This is really fun for me. It's a totally brand new thing. It inspires me. It makes me healthier and stronger and all sorts of cool things. But I'm not here to clear away anything. You know what I mean?
right.
And I know some guys are. And so it almost makes me feel bad when I ascribe my own judgments to this sport, because I'm not here to get rid of any shit. I'm here to have fun. But
I mean, we're all really here to have fun.
Yeah,
Aaron.
like
I
to think
think
so.
I think if you're looking at it from that aspect, you're looking at it a little wrong there. I mean, like his or my, reason for being in jiu-jitsu, it's not going to affect you ever.
Mm-mm. You're here to help us. You help us learn.
Man, when we're rolling, that's helping me right there. I haven't been depressed for a while, so I'm solid. I feel good. And I've also kind of like learned how to cope with a lot of stuff, but I know other people need that as well. And for some reason, man, getting beat up helps. Like, because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm getting smashed, my brain's not thinking about any other problems I have except for the problem at hand, which is this guy's trying to pass my guard, and I don't want to be stuck in side control because it's not that fun. Because all the guys here at Asgard have pretty solid pressure, and they know how to use that shoulder, and none of that's fun. So my brain is focused on what we're doing in here while we're in here, and that really helps. That even the 2-3 hours I'm in here a day, that right there is enough to help me get through the rest of the week for one day. But obviously I'm in here a little bit longer than that throughout the week. So our what's the word I'm looking for here? Our gains from this mentally will never be affected by you unless you're actively like saying weird shit to us. Yeah.
Or there was a situation that happened a couple years ago. This kid, he was a young kid. He was fresh out of high school. I believe he was a state wrestler, and he was just on point with his attitude. And first time I rolled with him the first night, not a big deal. Kind of helped him humble a little bit. But the next night, he went into the kickboxing class, and he blasted this older lady, and she's a sweet lady. She really she's not like you or I. She can't take a hit like that. And so the next day he come in and he was getting it, and we were like, okay, we've had enough of this. This guy needs to figure it out, and we put it on him. And we didn't have to do much to him. I ended up having he was in a triangle face down, and I'm sitting there holding on to his back. And every time he'd move, I'd just sink it in for just a little bit more. And he sat there for probably about 2.5 minutes. And I was impressed because he didn't tap. He kept at it. And unfortunate for him, he turned around and got a hold of another guy. He was a white belt, though. He humbled him. He's about 280, something like that. And all he did was just lay on him. He's like, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And this guy's down here dying. And unfortunately, the lesson that he took away from it was never come back. It wasn't that, hey, maybe I need to humble and calm down a little bit here and not beat up old ladies. So,
have you got to witness like the mat enforcers at a bunch of gyms?
Yeah.
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 How's that like?
It's unique. It's a unique thing. Hey, Andrea, I need power for my laptop at some point. I don't know what we have to do to make that a reality. I'm just letting you know that. Could you think about that for me? All right. Look into it. There's probably another extension cord up at the front if you looked.
Yeah, give me.
Yeah, there
just
is.
A second.
There's a
Okay.
white cord attached on the desk.
This is a podcast on the fly, folks. We do what we do. And it seems like maybe we have something here.
Yeah, there's a white extension cord. It's only a 2-prong, so I hope you don't need a 3-prong.
I do need a 3-prong. But are the lights?
Can you switch out that other power cord?
The lights are 3 also.
No. Well, then that's a big no-no.
Yeah, the lights are 3.
Oh, power strip. Is that a 3-prong power strip?
There we go. Go with the power strip. Power strip into your extension. Yeah, that'll work. How fun. This is my favorite part is how listeners have to bear with me for this piece of it. But like at the same time, I'm proud not to have a podcast that I edit the fuck out of, because they're just getting the real thing. Like, you're here in the gym, we're having a cool evening. This is what it looks like.
Right.
We do things, we solve problems. I actually think it's weird when people hide technical things, frankly. Like, I get it if you have a certain show you're producing or whatever. But
if a certain level was expected out of it.
yeah.
Joe Rogan's podcast, you're probably not going to expect that many technical
People
issues.
go
But there is.
He goes and pees.
Yeah.
Because they
Which
do.
is what I was
4-hour
about to-
episodes.
that
Yeah, I was going to say they do like
Yeah.
4-hour
I
episodes.
absolutely love listening to his podcast.
Yeah.
Why I don't know. I think
I was listening to it today at work.
You know
Tim
what?
Kennedy was just on there.
I'm off it. I'm off
Really?
it right now. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks. The ones I'm into right now. So I read all of the James Bond books, and then I was like, I felt like a traitor because, like, I need American James Bond, which is Jack Ryan, and so now I'm listening to all the Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan books, and I just finished Hunt for Red October today, which is phenomenal. People, really good.
Have
Really-
you checked out the Sandman? What do you use
for what?
for your audiobooks?
I usually use Audible because it's all there. I used
Yes.
Scribed for a long time because they had a lot of stuff, and I just go through audiobooks like nobody's fucking business. But now I'm back on Audible.
Have you checked out the Sandman?
No, but I'll put it on the
Are
list.
you into comic books or superheroes
how
or anything?
Dorky, how dorky is it? On a scale of 1 to 10.
Not that dorky.
Okay.
So it's actually going to get a live adaptation on Netflix here soon.
Okay.
This year, it's supposed to, hopefully.
The
Fingers
big
crossed.
thing, the Sandman, Neil.
Yep.
It's Neil Gaiman, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
So he also did Bad Omens, which is a Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah,
show,
sure, I've seen that.
And then American Gods, which was, I believe, on Stars. Yeah.
Okay, I just put that in my wish list, so
It's
I'll get to that.
Solid one. The cast is really good. It's James McAvoy plays the main
Oh, I like
character.
him.
Yeah, and he does phenomenal.
The big things I've been listening to, so I've been listening to a lot of biographies lately because I wanted to hone up on my history in a major way. And like, there's something about reading a biography, picking one person that exemplifies a time period that you like understand the actual time period. We're built to understand stories, and so you have the story of one person's life, and all of a sudden you get that time period. You understand far more about what's going on. So I've done like Washington and Rockefeller and Lincoln. I'm listening to one about Mao Zedong right now, which is horrifying. This dude, like the cover description for this book is like, here's a guy who killed 70 million people in peacetime. That's what his legacy is, okay?
Sounds peaceful.
It is the
Yeah.
story of possibly the worst human who ever lived. It's always so weird to me. Listen, we can all hate on Hitler all day. Sounds good. I'm into it. But this dude killed 70 million fucking people because he starved them and tortured them and, you know, kept information away from them. It's fucking awful. He's the worst person. Every like twist and turn of this book is him doing like, what's the most horrible card I could play? There it is. Like, it's awful, man. So that's a fun listen. But now, yeah, I have to balance that with like good fiction. So like, but I'm loving the Tom Clancy stuff. So
Check out Sandman. It's
I will.
it's a solid one. So I'll give you a little basic introduction to it. It follows Morpheus. Morpheus is the Sandman. He's the like god over dreams, basically.
Whoa.
So he controls the whole dream world, and then his family is the Endless. So the Endless incorporates death and envy and all those other.
This is like super fantasy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I
it's pretty good though.
I wanted to like the Dune movie, which sounds like in the same realm of things. Like,
Actually, I haven't seen the
You haven't seen
the
it?
movie, the new one. I haven't seen.
bro, it's so fucking slow. You can tell as you're watching it that they took a book and were like, if we made 3 movies, people would have to buy 3 movie tickets. So let's do that. Because there's like 2 points of plot in the entire fucking movie. Honestly, it's cool. It looks cool and all, but fuck, does it last forever?
They were probably trying to bank off like the actors and actresses they had
Them,
having the star power.
and that's
they,
fine.
They
But
had.
god damn, it is 2 hours of nothing fucking happening.
Have
okay.
you seen Doctor Strange?
I haven't
The
seen the new one yet.
multiverse.
Yeah.
Of madness.
Don't ruin that for me.
Or are
No.
you a Marvel fan?
Here's the thing.
Or?
I don't like Doctor Strange. I'm sorry. I didn't like him from
Sorry
the
me, I didn't write him.
initial movie because the whole point of the movie was like don't listen to reality, just believe in this thing. And that is antithetical to a lot of what I'm into. So I shut the movie off at
Very
that point.
opposite of everything we've been talking about on this podcast.
Right, it was kind of the point of the movie. But it's all good. But I liked him. Andrea and I are like super Spider-Man fans. Like, I don't love all the Avengers, but fucking I will go toe-to-toe on arguing about how great all the Spider-Man movies are any fucking day. And the last one they just put out with all of them,
I loved it.
bro,
It's great.
it closed like all of these things I didn't know I need closure on, and then it pushed into like they finally delivered this Spider-Man away from the Avengers universe. It's what you want from Spider-Man. It's a kid on his own. His life is fucked. He doesn't have Tony Stark sending him shit. Like, he's finally the like tragic character that I want him to be. So I'm really stoked about it. So yeah, no, I care a lot.
Loved it. Thought it was impressive.
Anyway, you asked me about mat enforcers, and yes, it is something I've seen, at gyms. Frankly, I kind of wish I saw more of it.
Really?
At the same time, that's from a very uninformed like side of me. It's from the more angry side of me, because the real side of me is like, that's not how you fix people from doing these things.
Right.
It's not how you stop it. But when someone smashes you, you want someone to go smash them. So I get it. But yeah, I mean, I've seen variations of that, and people who are watching. And but at the same time, I've had roles with people who I had bad rapport with. I think I can tell this story because we're friends now. There was a guy in Tucson who, the first time I rolled with him, I was a white belt, he was a blue belt. I think he was getting something out of his system because he wrecked me and was kind of telling someone on the sidelines how many times he had submitted me, kind of bragging as we went mid-roll, like 5, and I was like, whoa. And then, a black belt who was kind of looking out for me went and rolled with him. And I don't think he mat enforced him. He just kind of calmed him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Put him in his place
Sometimes,
probably a
sometimes
little.
they need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's now my friend and he like came back later, and we're friends now. It's cool. When you give someone the chance to evolve like that. And I don't know that a beatdown is what is required in that situation.
I'd like to say no, but man, I've seen some people that like,
if they're like intentionally hurting, or I guess I can't say intentionally, if they are going out there to hurt somebody unintentionally, then that's one thing. But if you're going out there just to give it your all and hulk out on somebody, that needs to be addressed. They need to kind of see what they're dishing out to everybody.
I think it's about gym owners paying attention. Been to so many different, again, because I've been to so many different gyms, there's some gyms where the owner of the black belt is watching all the rolls across the mat. It's crucial to them. And there's some gyms where they're sitting on their phone. I'm okay. Do what you need to do. It's your fucking gym. You're the black belt. You know more than me. But when you miss those things, I think there's certain people that need to get an ultimatum. Either you fix this or you're not training at my gym.
Right.
And it should be that simple. And honestly, it shouldn't hurt anybody's feelings. It should be, because I don't allow that behavior here. So we're either going to fix it or you can't train here. Sorry.
Right.
yeah.
But you have to pay attention first.
That's,
Agreed.
just
Yeah.
tell you what, that's one of my favorite things when I'm visiting a gym, to see a coach step in and say, "Hey, ooh, don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't do that to white belts or whatever,
Sure.
or whatever the situation is."
That's
I've
definitely
seen,
first step, right?
yeah,
there.
I've seen coaches step in and say, "Hey, whoa, no."
Yeah.
And when I see that right there, this gym, solid.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if it progresses past that point, if they continue to be a problem, then I think it's a solid choice. Throw your toughest guy at him. Can you take care of that? I think a mat enforcer is like a last option that should be used.
I can see that, and I don't even think it has to be a last option. You could throw that first. You could be like, go take care of him, but someone has to talk to that guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Someone
It's
has
all about
to say
communication.
something.
Exactly. It needs to be communicated.
For
Hey,
a-
what you did wrong was this, this, and this.
See,
For a sport
Fix
where we're
it.
engaging in consistent conflict, the fact that sometimes people are
It's not
afraid to
conflict.
talk to someone,
Yeah, right,
and like
right.
bring up a problem, it's like, what you could destroy this guy. You can talk to him. You
The-
could be like, this is an issue.
the situation that I brought up earlier, that was like day 3 of talking to him, letting him know, and then finally asserting it. So that wasn't like hey, this guy's getting it right now, just because of the way he is.
Yeah.
You definitely have to have that communication. If you
Yeah.
can't tell somebody, hey, don't do that, and there's an issue.
Yeah.
You know,
I think especially with jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of people that join this sport or join their gym, whatever, because they're already in kind of a lower spot and they don't know how to communicate properly. I've seen it a lot. You know, we have people coming in that they're very antisocial. They don't know what to do, and they'll eventually grow. I've seen them grow through this sport, but they don't know like how to say, hey, can you not do that to me? I don't know what the shit you're doing, you know?
For the guy that just talked a minute ago about how there's not actually two sides to everything, I'd say there's two sides to this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really complicated because God damn. I don't want to make that the conclusion, but like it kind of is. Because on the one hand, you want to protect your people. Most of us come in here and this is a hobby, and if you break my arm, I'm going to be severely impeded from doing what I need to do.
right?
It's going to affect my income and livelihood and ability to travel, and it's a real issue. So coming in and becoming injured because someone is really not being considerate or careful, it's a severe problem. On the other hand, we also come here to not be bitches anymore, and that is
100%.
tough to contend with too. Because when I started jiu-jitsu, I had all sorts of excuses for why this hurts and this hurts, and I don't want to roll with that guy because that hurts, and I don't do that anymore because I've been at it long enough that like I go home to Andrea and I brag about what the most painful part of my night was. I'm like, fuck, this guy was smashing my face on the mat. I didn't fucking tap to it.
Yeah.
And like,
Found this way, stiff-armed here, whatever, you know?
yeah, so how do you contend with that type of middle ground, man?
I really think it's talk to them.
Yeah.
If you talk to them twice, after the second time, if they 3 strikes, you're out, right?
Yeah.
You know, talk to them twice. But the problem is you've got other people's livelihood at stake too.
Yeah.
So, man, either talk to them once, then send somebody after them if they do it again, or talk to them twice and send somebody after them if
And
they
it's
do it again.
Not like we don't want the people here. It's you want them to figure out, hey, don't do this, so you can keep coming back, so they keep coming back.
Yeah. You
We all wanna
protect
be
your
here.
training partners, you know? That's the biggest thing that annoys the crap out of me is that like if you know, we're training together, this has never happened thankfully, but you know, Travis shoots an armbar on me and then he full extension as he drops back and everything, hips forward. No, you're destroying my arm. Please don't. If you want to get better using me, you need this arm to be good.
Right.
Now,
So
maybe on a belly down armbar, I'll do that.
yeah, just snap that thing.
Yeah. But not everybody has the same.
No.
I feel like what we're saying is so reasonable. And then you have people come in who like could not understand what we're talking about right now. I don't know what it is that they missed growing up or their
It
parents
might
didn't help
circle
them
back
with.
to that ego.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So what about it?
that ego might get in the way. You can't beat me. I beat you. That's how this works. You know, I've seen it quite a few times. I actually, believe it or not, I saw a guy. You know, you've seen black belts hand you things, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen it happen with Coach Hall, where Coach Hall handed a guy a couple things, and then the guy gets up and says, "Fuck yeah!" afterwards. It's like, oh, hey, that was probably not the best move right there, you know? And you see stuff like that happen, you're like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that, you know?
It should be really simple to understand. If a black belt allows you to do something, it's because you did it technically exactly the way they want you to do it.
Yeah.
Not because you did it for real.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's because they're running a checklist, and if you hit everything on that checklist, they'll let you have that armbar. Because that means you learned it.
Is that to say, though, that,
Then
you know...
put him through a wall, eat him.
yeeted the guy into the wall. It was, man.
Last year when I was here, Coach Hall did that. He got inside control to me and just put all his pressure on me.
Yeah, the
It's
2-ton pressure.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like a truck is sitting on top of you. And I
You're
just
like,
sat there.
what is this?
I'm so happy that this year he went in that side control and I was able to get out of it. And he mentioned it. I'm amazed he could remember that. I'm amazed that when a black belt can remember anything because how many roles have those guys had in their time? And he was like, "Oh, you didn't get stuck in side control this time." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm glad you noticed."
You're absolutely right.
If you're making an impression on him, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
always
It's
awesome.
it's a great sport for things to be nice and to and for people to learn things. And I wish everybody could take away all the great lessons that I feel like it's brought me. And I don't know how to reach the people that aren't taking away those lessons. Is it that they're not coming in enough? Is it
Scared.
You think so?
I think a lot of people are scared to just come in because they're like, I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna get beat up, I'm gonna get hurt, I don't know what I'm doing. That's the excuse I hear from many people every day. Because I tell them, I was like, go to jujitsu, come do yoga with me, come do kickboxing, whatever. And that's their excuse every time. Oh, I'm just gonna make a fool of myself. I'm gonna fall over. I'm gonna get beat up. I'm gonna get hurt. I'm gonna get hit in the face. Well, nobody wants to get hit in the face, but
it's not that fun.
Well, yeah.
I hear a different excuse. I usually hear the I'm not in shape right now. I'll get in shape and then I'll come in. And I'm like, no. I showed up hungover at 265 pounds for my first day. That's not fair. Why do you get in shape first and then do the beat ups? That's not cool. I was out of shape getting beat up.
Yeah.
So the whole I need to be in shape first thing, it's bullshit because I literally lost. So right now I'm at like 185, 190. I'm feeling a little chunky. Just got over a rib injury. So it's all cool. But normally I'm walking around at like 175. So I lost 90 pounds doing this in kickboxing.
Yeah.
I changed my diet to be healthier, stop drinking so much. But that's it. So the excuse of I'm not in shape, that's bullshit.
I don't care
so
what kind of
tired of
shape
hearing
you're
it.
in. If an ultra marathoner comes in here, they're gonna get winded.
Yeah,
because this
absolutely.
is a different thing entirely.
Way different cardio, man.
Good luck.
You can go run Luke from class.
Yeah.
That guy runs a bunch, man. And this is a different cardio. Granted, that running helps this cardio.
Oh yeah.
But it is not the same. You
Before,
take 5 minutes of rolling and 2 mile run, way different.
Yeah, maybe if you're doing 5-minute hill sprints and then taking a 1-minute rest, sure, I'll give you that you could get into the type of shape it takes to do this because that's what it's going to feel like.
Oh yeah.
But not even that. It's not even 1 minute. It's like if you're doing 5-minute bear crawls up a 90-degree, not a 90-degree angle, up a 45-degree angle, right? Yeah, maybe if you're rock climbing as fast as possible. Those guys are in pretty fucking good shape. Actually.
yeah, they are.
Man.
They're in great shape.
I'll tell you what, we had a rock climber come in for
grips.
a little while. Yeah,
Grips.
dude. Surprised the crap out of me.
The
That guy, he grabbed something and it was his.
Did you see the rock climbing in the Olympics?
No, I
This
didn't.
last Olympics? It was the first time it's ever been there. They did a speed climb. They did a bouldering challenge where you're all sorts of upside down and stuff. And then they did like a good like lead rope intense thing. We watched all of it because Andrea loves rock climbing and it was amazing.
Rock climber?
She
Yeah.
she does. Yeah.
Okay.
That's always something I wanted to get into is rock climbing, but
Great.
don't have much of an opportunity.
Same.
It'd be a good cross train with this. But yeah, don't come here to get in shape, man. Like, come here as you are. Yeah, I was rolling with a very cool white belt here tonight. Nice guy. And the first thing he said to me, though, was like, I don't really know a lot. And I was like, you're not supposed to. You're really not supposed to.
You're at the
How
starting
would
point,
you know a
bud.
lot? What are you talking about? But that is the feeling that you have when you come in. You're like, I can't believe I don't know a lot about this. How? Do you know a lot about speaking Chinese? Like, like unless you've done it a lot, I don't think you know a lot about it.
Repetition, man.
Seen it a lot, heard it a lot, never done it myself.
Yeah, right. I feel like I went far off the point of what I like want to make sure I have somewhat in this episode of the connection between, jiu-jitsu and military service. I wonder if there's anything else we should add. Any thoughts?
I do want to touch on something,
Yeah.
actually. So, like, law enforcement specifically, obviously, we've all seen the past couple years law enforcement in the news over, various things, and that's something we specifically want to change here. Is we want law enforcement to know what they're doing. I see it all the time on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, where there's people throwing out all kinds of ideas of what should happen, defund the police or whatever it is, but that's not a real legitimate option. Okay, a real legitimate option is get them proper training. If you cut funding, what the fuck does that do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay? But if you take funding and direct it towards the right things, that would help so much. So we actually offer law enforcement officers free until they're blue belt. And I think that in and of itself is so intelligent. I think every jiu-jitsu gym should do that. Obviously, it's not a money building scheme. It's not going to help your gym out money wise, but eventually it could. If they stick with it, which they should after the blue belt. I think that's the most important thing is to get them training though. They need to know what to do in all these real life situations. And I'm really happy to be part of a gym that is actively trying to help them figure out what the problem is. We're getting at the root of the problem and fixing it. So we've got now probably 7 or 8 law enforcement officers in here now.
I've only met
all
3 or
working.
4 of them, I think.
And man, I couldn't be happier. Every single one of them has come in here and said, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. Help me learn and help me get better so I don't hurt somebody or get myself hurt.
Yeah. They were telling stories the other day about how they recently used this training.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny, you get a lot of opinions from people who, not a lot of people do martial arts. So you get a lot of opinions out there from people who have never dealt with a physical confrontation.
Or had a gun pulled
Or
on
had a
them.
gun pulled on them. Yeah,
something like
that's a big thing, man.
That's a huge thing.
The moment you get a gun pulled on you is the moment your life changes. You're like, whoa, hold
But
on.
I think it's even further than that because it's the point is, in most of these situations, is that you've got the gun.
Yeah.
Do you have any other options before you use the gun?
Leave the situation.
Well,
But in the
Yeah.
law enforcement
Law enforcement
standpoint,
can't.
they can't.
No.
they can't. That's their job. They're the ones to clean up the mess.
Right. Agreed.
And so I think it's really impactful. I'm really glad every time I get to roll with any sort of law enforcement officer. I'm really glad that they're in here. I'm glad it's become such a widespread thing. Adopt a Cop and a lot of programs like that.
Unfortunately, Adopt a Cop doesn't have that many slots, and they fill up like that.
Yeah.
So we have one guy that's through Adopt a Cop out of all the cops that we have.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of gyms like Asgard that are taking it on themselves to say we want to be a part of the solution here. It's fantastic, man. It's great. I've rolled with I rolled with a guy last night and on Saturday that are part of law enforcement. And when I'm rolling with these guys, I'm like, man, I hope I can give something to you here.
Yeah.
Because I want them to be able to have other options to feel safe and do what they can.
Yeah.
If you actively want to do your part with them, start standing with those guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of them don't have that great of takedowns to begin with, especially if they're newer into this.
Yeah.
They don't know it. They need to work them.
The gear makes it really difficult to maneuver too,
Yeah.
especially if somebody actually grabs a hold of that gear. I mean, that can go south really quick with just simple head control.
Right. Well, not only that, but when you
More
think
traps.
about a lot of those situations, you've got someone who's wearing few clothes, if not maybe like no shirt at all. That's maybe your perp there, right? And then you've got your officer who's got a nice button down on, the full pants, the belt. He's essentially wearing a gi. So we've got gi against no gi here, and if you've done jiu-jitsu, you recognize where the advantage is. And the advantage is absolutely for the no gi guy because there's nothing to hold on to for the officer, right?
I like using my gi on people.
That's true. Yeah, no, I can confirm
That's
that.
fair,
Sorry.
but it's not quite
Not
a
the
gi.
situation,
The
right.
point is, I mean, there's things to hang on to. Is my point.
Right.
That's
particularly a belt.
One of those things that I talk about a lot is I think it's so important, crucial to practice no gi. I see so many people that do only gi. My brother's gonna be mad at me for calling him out, but Todd, you do only no gi, or you do only gi. Do no gi, okay? It's important, man. You got to learn those muscle grips, tricep grip, okay? So it's very crucial to learn how to grab a hold of somebody if they don't have a shirt on.
Yeah.
And I think law enforcement specifically should do that. I also think that they should learn how to roll in their actual full battle rattle. I think that's something, and they should actively work on Kimura traps specifically.
Yeah.
Because anytime anybody reaches for anything on your duty belt, they're trying to do you harm.
Right.
So I don't care if your arm gets broken at that point.
Yeah.
the law enforcement officer needs to get home to their family as well. You know.
Yeah, it's it's so intense, man. But it's not just that. It's yes, we can point and say like law enforcement should be doing jujitsu. Fuck, man, everybody should be engaging with some type of conflict like this.
Right.
Because once you do, you realize how much it would suck to do this elsewhere. How much would this suck to do on concrete? Because I know what it feels like on a padded mat, and it sucks already. So do I really want to do it on concrete with no shirt on? No, I don't. No, I really, really don't.
With that statement, I do feel like there are a lot of people that have never been hit in the mouth, but they tend to run it like they have. And I feel like, you know, maybe if they just get hit once in one class, they might stop running a little bit.
That's that's something I've
or they'll lay
thought
off
about
the keyboard warrior business.
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody should train. So
Yeah, it changes you.
That's man, first time I got hit in the face, real eye opener, real eye opener. It's like, oh, I can't run my shit anymore because people will hurt me.
Yeah.
And it hurts. It definitely hurts.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cliche things I could throw into the mix right now, like the whole concept of better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war, and all that stuff we hear all the time.
Definitely.
It is immensely and universally true, but it's hard to say it in new ways. And if people haven't gotten it yet, it's really hard for me to think that they ever will.
Right.
Try not to feel hopeless about that. The fact is that jiu-jitsu is growing, it's reaching more people. I want to do my part in that. At the core, I think people should do hard things. I think people have a misunderstanding of what conflict is, and I think that when you use your body for conflict, it helps you use your words for conflict much stronger.
Agreed.
It turns the volume down. It makes everything less. And if you do find yourself in a confrontation, I can't imagine my adrenaline levels if I was to be dealing in some sort of scuffle previous to my training to now, because I really think some muscle memory kick in and you'd actually feel chill. I actually think afterward is when you'd be like, whoa, my adrenaline's through the roof right now. After I've broken that dude's arm and we're cool and we're just waiting for the cops to show up, you know, because in the moment it's just like, oh, this is just what I do. This is chill. I do this on a Saturday morning. It's one of the most fun things I get to do.
It's crazy to see your muscle memory take over too.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely the wildest thing ever. You're like, whoa, why did I did that? I mean, I didn't actively try to do that, but
well, you guys talked about it too, training with firearms, you know, it's the same thing. You don't want the moment when you're really using those firearms for there to be anything going on but muscle memory. You want to be relaxed and be like, I've trained for that. You don't want to be thinking that through at that moment, you know. So the more you train stuff, the more you know what's going on. It's seeking the truth. It's an answer to what's really out there.
I used to think that jiu-jitsu was for everybody, kickboxing was for everybody. I thought, you know, anybody can do it, but there's like a certain level of, I call it mat awareness, when people know what they're doing on the mat. Like, you know, if they've had any sort of grappling, or even if they had older brothers that they used to just wrestle around with, they have some sort of mat awareness of, I can't do this because I know they're going to do this, or whatever it is, you know.
It's a Hail Mary and do it.
Yeah.
See if they get it. Maybe I'll make it.
Unfortunately, body awareness is not the same. And I feel like there's a lot of people that just don't know how to manipulate their body, don't know what their body's capable of, don't know how to use their body effectively. And some people, you can't teach it. Like they can't learn it. Like their brain can't comprehend it, or I don't know what the problem is there, but
the neurons are not connected in that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. The people that have been doing this for like a year, and it just isn't clicking. And I hope that they can find somebody that can help them teach. But I also know realistically that they're probably, if they've been doing it for a while, you know, like a year, and it's not clicking, realistically they're probably going to quit, and it's not for them. You know,
right.
And that sucks because I really want to believe that this is for everybody.
Right.
But unfortunately, there's those few people that they just don't know how their body works. They don't know how to maneuver, and they don't have the ability to learn it.
Right. Well, you don't have to become good at this sport in order to gain the advantage of the experience of doing
Yeah.
it.
Right.
All those lessons we talked about, like knowing how much it sucks to be in physical confrontation, all those things. That's you still get all that just from coming a bit.
Yeah.
And the thing that's weird about this sport is you never get to roll against yourself. If there was a benchmark to when I go play basketball, I know that like when I started, I was shooting some hoops here. I bought a basketball while we were here because there's a basketball court nearby. And when I started, I could hit like fucking 2 free throws out of 10 because it's been a long time since I played. And now I'm like, I can hit about 6 out of 10. Okay, so I can actually go head to head against myself because there's a number there. It's real clear.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I gained 4 free throws out of 10. That's great. In jiu-jitsu, you're always rolling against someone different, and they're changing too, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So you never get to roll against day one you. But the thing about it is, if you've been here for any longer than, let's say, 2 weeks, you could destroy day one you.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
could make day one you look like a fucking idiot. And the further you get, the better. You know, well, yeah, hopefully. Because day one you knew absolutely nothing. That I think makes it really hard. So like people don't show those signs of progressing, and they may never become really good at this sport, but almost immediately you become better than you were when you first walked in here. And
Man, that's
all you understood this.
Say being day one, coming in here, learning just a little bit, like how to defend a basic rear naked choke. You'll have a better advantage of the person that didn't show up that day to learn that defense. So even you can be the worst person at jiu-jitsu ever coming in for a month, but you're going to be way better than that guy that didn't come in.
Yeah.
That's one of those things I'm surprised with you. I guess surprised isn't the term I want, but I'm happy with your progress specifically. Is like you haven't been there like we talked about earlier, and I'm sure you've hit it on your podcast. You haven't been there for a curriculum. You know, you've been stopping into these different gyms and picking up these, random parts of their curriculum that has helped you evolve to this point where you're at now, which is incredible because you didn't get that straightforward, okay, this is how we shrimp. After we shrimp, we do this, you didn't get the ground up.
Right.
You've been getting little pieces, and you haven't even been able to cherry pick them yourself.
Right.
You're moving into these places, and you're getting these little snippets of these game plans, and you've been able to get to a point where I've seen your progress just from the first time we rolled in here or over there to this point today where we rolled.
Right.
It's incredible, and it's awesome. Honestly, awesome, man.
Thanks, bro.
So, yeah, it's crazy to see that change in people, honestly.
Yeah.
And
I told you I had fun rolling with you the other day.
Thank you, man. This is really helping that ego.
there we go.
No, it's a lot of fun, and people should find their own way to train. I really think training while traveling is fantastic. Andrew wrote a blog post about it for Wild Hickson's people. It's
So
on the
jealous, man.
website. Because I'm in competition all the time, and people are like, "Oh, you grow so much from competition, dude." Once a month, I'm at a new competition with brand new people assessing my level, and it's great. But it is weird because if someone was to ask me certain questions that a blue belt probably should know, I might not be able to answer them if you pick the right ones. But could I talk you through truck like nobody's business, because that happened at 2 different gyms I was at, and I got 2 various gyms worth of all the truck information and twisters and banana splits and calf slicers from that position, all that stuff. Yeah, I could crush that. But do I know every pass that someone else knows? No, I don't. So it's tricky, but there's a real benefit.
I'll be 100% honest. I don't know names of half the stuff that I do. I'm
Same.
like, oh yeah, it's this wrist lock that you turn the arm this way, hold them upside down. You got it.
Yeah.
If you pop in for my lab class, you'll find that out. I don't know a lot of the technical names, and I'll blame that on brain injuries or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been hitting that.
Yeah, I've been hitting the head a lot. Okay.
I'll be there next time. So we're going to this Midwest training camp. It's like a 10th Planet thing. A bunch of 10th Planet schools down in Missouri are doing this thing. So we're gonna be there this weekend. So hopefully I bring back some new stuff. I'm gonna have quite a few sessions with some really cool people and hopefully learn a lot. I'll just be rolling all weekend, so I'm really excited about it. Let's see. Anything else going on? Andrea's new doc, Wild Hickson's on the Hunt, which is our original squirrel hunt and also like the hog hunt turned raccoon hunt that we did in Texas. You guys can go find that on the channel. It's a lot of fun. I think it's like a funnier episode of On the Hunt if you want something approachable. And we actually were successful on this On the Hunt, which is really cool. So it's very rare for me. Thank you guys both for doing the podcast. It's really awesome.
Thanks for having us, man.
If you happen to be in Lafayette or you know anywhere in the area, like you guys are a pretty quick shot over to Indy too. So like if you're in the area, come train with these guys. I know they'll be glad to have you. It's great roles, good vibe, good instruction, and they've been super welcoming to Andrea and I. So thanks
everybody's
to
family
Asgard.
that comes in.
Yeah, I feel that. It's a good time here. So check them out. Is that about it, boys? Did we do it?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank
Sounds
you
good to me.
very much for listening to the podcast. Thank you guys for your service, of course, and glad we got to talk a little about that. And as always, folks, we'll see you on the next episode.